We have a 1999 Pontiac Grand Am. We're going to go through the steps in order to replace the fuel pump. Before replacing the fuel pump, we want to bleed the pressure off the system using our pressure relief valve on our gauge. Be sure and capture any of the fuel into a safe container. Before beginning any repair, we'll disconnect the negative battery cable. In order to do a proper fuel pump replacement, we need to clean the inside of the tank, and that will require the removal of the tank. At the rear of the tank, disconnect the fuel filler hose and the emissions line. Also at the rear of the tank, disconnect both pressure and return lines. There will be some residual fuel when disconnecting the fuel lines. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. Be sure and remove the safety retainer before disconnecting the electrical connection. With the tank properly supported, we can remove the tank straps. Completely remove the tank from the vehicle, then thoroughly clean the outside of the tank before removing the module assembly. With the outside of the tank thoroughly cleaned, we can now remove the module assembly. Remove the fuel lines from the fuel retainer. Disconnect the emissions line. Remove the locking ring. Be sure and inspect the locking ring to make sure it's not damaged in any way that would hinder the reuse. Remove the fuel pump module from the tank. Keep in mind there's a reservoir at the bottom of the module that will hold residual fuel. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. Always be sure and thoroughly clean the inside of the tank before installing the new Airtex fuel pump module. With the inside of the tank thoroughly cleaned, we'll now install the new Airtex fuel pump module. First, we'll need to remove the cinder arm from the outside of the module assembly. Be sure and remove the red protective cap from the end of the cinder arm. Install the cinder arm fully into the cinder assembly. Install the tank seal onto the module assembly. As you lower the fuel pump module assembly into the tank, be sure and align the locating tab on the flange with the recess in the top of the tank. Fully position the pump into the flange of the tank, then install the locking ring, making sure that the snap ring is fully seated under the retainers on the tank. This module assembly includes a bracket that may or may not be used on your application. If your application does not require this bracket, just remove and discard it. Reconnect the emissions line to the fuel pump module. Install the tank into the vehicle and reattach the tank straps. With the tank completely fastened into the vehicle, we'll reconnect the fuel lines, the emissions line, the fuel filler hose, and the electrical connection. With the fuel pump installed, reconnect the negative battery cable. Cycle the key 3 to 4 times in order to charge the system. Start the vehicle and monitor pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specifications. Now before we remove our pressure gauge, we'll shut the vehicle off and bleed the pressure using our pressure gauge, making sure to capture any fuel into a safe container.